Hey everyone, it's been a while. Obviously Christmas, New Year, and then getting back to work, being sick. So yeah, was just thought I'd come on and just want to do a quick video about how we've been going on with winter in the van. So for those that don't know, we've been in the van for about 7 months. Started probably just about the beginning of summer. So obviously we were pretty blessed for the first few months where we had reasonable weather, and things have gone on pretty well. Now we kitted the van out pretty well. Excuse me, we kitted the van out pretty well for winter, but we've learned a lot of lessons and neglected a few things that you shouldn't really be shouldn't be neglected. So obviously we've had a recent cold snap in the UK where we hit like -5, -6, around where we were, a bit of freezing fog, maybe felt a little bit colder than that. And I wouldn't say we were struggling, but what we started to do is, in the beginning, we would have the diesel heater on. Comes out a little outlet under the table that you're currently sat on, and we'd have that on probably. It's a max speed and rods Bluetooth version, so it goes up to 40 degrees and it has 5 different fan speeds. So we would normally have that set on maybe 20 to 30 degrees on fan 2 up until we went to bed, and that would get our internal temperature. We've got a little gauge up here in the corner that would get our internal temperature up to about maybe sort of 20 degrees, 22 degrees, and it'd be comfortable, no problem at all. But what we were noticing is that we were losing a lot of heat on the floor. So if you see the floor now, so the van we're in is a 1977 Volkswagen LT28, and it has a 12mm plywood floor, or sorry, 20mm plywood floor. And when we got it, we had some issues with the ply at the back, so it runs underneath the aluminium box. It would have meant basically like a box off restoration to do all the floor. So we laid another floor over the top of that floor and screwed it all in together to sort of give it that sort of strength across all the joints. And then we laid laminate on top of it, and that's all we did. Now I decided or thought that I couldn't afford to do your traditional sort of joints and Celotex kind of insulated floor, because I would lose the height in the ceiling. You see, I mean, when I stand up, I've actually now got ample height, but it as we were measuring it while we were doing the conversion, it just didn't look like we were going to have the height to go, Celotex, battens, floor on top of that. We would have lost height. Up here, this end above the bed, excuse me, is it raises and bubbles like the quiff on a motorhome, but obviously towards the back it's flatter, and I was worried I'd run out of space. So we left it with just a laminate floor down, and it was really noticeable. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of you saying, well, obviously, but it was really noticeable just how cold the floor was and how much heat we were losing through there. Also up in the bed area, let me just show you up here. Up in our bed area, we just turn the light around so you can see. So that window over there is Perspex. It's just literally a single sheet of Perspex. And we did have a curtain across there. It's been tinted. But we had a curtain across there, and it wasn't really working. So what we did was we put a vinyl across it to keep the light out. But obviously then it meant we only had one single sheet of Perspex to stop the heat, or keep the heat in, I should say. And it meant that going to bed at night, the bed itself was freezing cold. Anything under your pillows, it was just horrendous. So what we've done is, you can't really see it, but kind of in this corner, it was past the light, that grey there, is the kind of Reflectex insulation. Oh, hang on, I forgot the light. Is the Reflectex insulation into 3, so folded like 1, 2, well, folded into 3. So you've got 3 thicknesses, and then we've surrounded that with some blackout curtain material. We put that across the window, and that has made, well, those 2 things together have made an unbelievable difference. Now when the heat goes up into the roof space, it stays there. We don't lose it through the Perspex, which obviously, again, I'm sure it's pretty obvious, but we just hadn't, well, we had considered it, I guess, but we just thought it was, it was going to be part of the thing. The side windows, the window behind me, we've got a Dunelm, supposed to be blackout blind, but it isn't. And then behind that, again, we've got a Celotex, made a Celotex, covered in the same carpet we use everywhere else, and they fit in both windows. So we've got one of those, like a thermal blind, effectively, in both windows. Unfortunately, the other Dunelm blind packed up over Christmas, so we've had to get rid of that. But we've got the thermal blind in there, pressed up against the window with a blackout curtain now that we've made, just sort of kind of semi-temporary permanent in there just for the time being. But the floor, I don't know if you can see that, so this is rubber matting, like the jigsaw style stuff that sort of goes together in its areas, and this stuff we got from Halfords. Shout out to Mel from Big Van Small World, because he's put some down in his workshop. And it got me thinking that it might help, because it's a high density foam. It'll give us some insulation. It's obviously going to be soft underfoot as well, and it should hopefully stop it. So an absolute miracle really, in that the lights, the LED lit strip lights there, were the perfect height for this foam to go under. The only thing I had to change was this door was on the floor, or we opened against the floor, and it had to be raised up. So we've had to put a little temporary latch under there. It's 2 packs for £20, £12 a pack, or 2 packs £20 at Halfords at the moment, and 2 packs did it absolutely fine. We've got probably about half pack left over. Very easy to cut with a Stanley blade. Cooper, enough. So and it just goes down really easy, and then it obviously, because it's got that jigsaw pattern sides, it kind of interlocks really well, and it goes down really firmly. Excuse me, I'm still getting over this cold from New Year. So yeah, so that's gone down, and sorry about that. Thought I'd take a bit of time to do this video while I was on my own, and got disturbed. So anyway, yeah. So I can't remember where I was, to be honest. But the flooring goes down really well, and we noticed immediately a difference. So normally, again, like I said, if the van's got all of its window covers off, the rear window that you can see there in the shot is the double glazed, original plastic double glazed window. I mean, I say original and double glazed, it's potentially a 1970s window, so yeah, I doubt it's that good thermally, but that's the plastic window. So the glass windows are up here, and we've got another little glass window in the bed that we put in, and the perspex obviously up there. If on a cold day, the van will probably go down to single figures. So we left it here one Saturday. We were out during the day, we came back to it, and it got down to about 3 degrees in here. And then by contrast, and again, obviously there's difference in temperature, but it was a very cold day that we left the van here, and we left it all closed up, and it got down to like 7-8 degrees. So it made a difference in that sort of 3 to 4 degree range. And then what we've noticed now is with the diesel heater on, I assume because it's a black floor, it seems to reflect that heat up and away from the floor, so you can feel the impact of the diesel heater much more. And also we're not using, like, we don't have to keep it on. I mean, we go 40 degrees level 5 to give it a good run of full chat, so that it doesn't coke up. But now we're finding that after about half an hour, we're having to go down to 20, even 18 degrees at level 1, and that maintains the van at now like 23, 24 degrees. So it's gone up 3 or 4 degrees. So we're definitely seeing like a 3 to 4 degree swing in the way the van keeps hold of its heat. Also, just like walking about, so you get up at night, you know, go for a pee, whatever. It's not cold, the floor isn't cold, whereas obviously the laminate floor was cold. And being sat here of an evening, you could also feel, excuse me, you could also feel the coldness coming through the floor. So whereas now you just don't feel it. So it's made a huge difference. So yeah, to anybody who's doing a van build at the moment, and if you think that you just don't need it, 100% you need to do it, because you will lose a lot of heat. You know, we were noticing when we opened the cupboard doors on the sides here and behind the fridge and the larder cupboard, quite a bit of cold behind there. So I guess it's just, you know, you're just trying to make all as much sort of a thermal impact as you can, and it just keeps the heating like so much better. So the other thing that we've probably learned is as well over this winter is diesel for the diesel heater. So I use an external metal jerry can which I mount to the front bumper of the van. It's not in the way of any lights, and the van's 1977, so it's MOT exempt. Although I have been told it would pass an MOT with the setup that I've got because it's strapped in and secured. But each their own. But I didn't want diesel in the van, or have to reach a diesel pump in the van to fill it up. So I run the diesel, excuse me, the diesel tanks on the bumper. It then comes through the grill and into and underneath and into the diesel heater, which sits in the front passenger footwell. That's about the only place I could really find to put it in this van. And I was looking to we've got a 5 litre metal can, like I said. And then we was thinking, oh, we've got a trip to Cornwall coming up for Christmas. We're going to need a bit more diesel because we were going through probably 5 litres every day and a half, 2 days, depending on usage and how cold it had got. So I thought we needed to take some extra. So I was going to get one of those 4-wheel drive off-road kind of thin 25 litre, 30 litre ones. But I've not been able to find them for anything. Well, I think is a reasonable price anyway. So I was still looking for something like that. But I've ended up mounting a couple of cans. We've got a box on the back of the van, which I'll show you some pictures of, or if you check our Instagram, you should better see that. And I've just put 2 jerry cans behind there. Now I'm taking a bit of a risk at the moment because they're not really secured, only by bungees to stop them falling off. But they're not bolted down yet. But it's worked out pretty well that we've now got maybe 5 or 6 days of diesel with all 3 cans, so the 2 at the back and the 1 at the front full. And then every night I just do a top up and then another top up, and then when we run out of cans at the back, like tonight, I've just put the last of those, almost the last of those in the can at the front. So tomorrow when we go off and park up, we'll grab some diesel on the way back, on the way out. So we have learnt that you know, you need more diesel than just 5 litres, otherwise you've got to be very frugal. And again, you know, each their own. If you don't want a diesel here, that's fine, but my wife has mobility issues and joint problems, and cold weather and that just don't mix. So we have no choice really but to keep it. I mean, not that I'd really want it to be uncomfortably cold in here anyway. Mind your head. So I keep it because the wife's just heard the wife getting in her car because she's off out for an exercise class. This is Cooper, forever on guard, as you can imagine. Anyone who's got a Dashie, I'm sure you know what I mean. So yeah, so they've been the 2 real big sort of lessons that we've learned. Now we've tried to get a massive quilt, like a 14 tog. Cooper, come away, she's not coming. Like a 14 tog winter quilt, but it was so thick, and we haven't got a lot of room up there, obviously in the bed area, and you kind of have to climb over it to get in, and then the wife's in the corner, so she has to climb over to get out, and it was just so big. So we've done the Scandinavian version, whatever it is, where we've got a quilt each and then a big blanket that goes on top of us, and that works great. But it just means that we are now like really sort of super comfortable, so we can keep the heater on very low, sometimes 15, 16 degrees, just ticking over overnight, and it'll keep the van at sort of 16 to 18 degrees, which again, you know, is obviously pretty comfortable, and it just makes such a difference. The flooring, for the price of it, is a great solution if you haven't got room. Thickness wise, it's probably about 50 mil thick, I would think. Maybe not even that, probably, actually. Maybe less than that, maybe 30 mil. Again, I'll put some details in the description once I go back to work tomorrow. I've got the spares there. But it's it's a really good solution because it's so easy to work with. It provides really good insulation. It's obviously very cheap compared to Celotex, which has obviously shot up in recent years. And it could be a really good solution going forward for people to use as insulation for their van floors. Cooper, will you get down? So yeah, so they're the two main lessons really. I guess oversights more than lessons on our part, in that, you know, I knew we'd lose a lot of heat through our windows, which obviously everybody said we would. But the Perspex window was a big eye opener. It's made a huge difference. But the floor has been a killer. Come on. So yeah, and like I said, we've you know we're 6-7 months in now. We just can't. We're not. Well, we wouldn't change any we sort of wouldn't change it. We love being in the van. I still work locally, so I have to sort of stay around this area at the moment. Although we'd say we did get to Cornwall for Christmas, which was brilliant. We had woke up at Pratt Sands Beach. Christmas Day, Boxing Day was there. We were able to go and catch up with a really dear old friend of mine who's got a pub down that way now. Good for vans if you want to pull in. It's the Jubilee Inn in St Pennant, just outside of Lure. Great base. They just ask obviously to support the pub if you want to park in a car park with some food or drink. We were able to catch up with Sharon's sisters, which was brilliant, and her husband. Shout out to Chris and Joe. Hopefully you'll see this at some point. But it was great to see you guys over the Christmas break. It really made our Christmas to be able to catch up with you guys. We had a great time seeing everybody, and we've had a couple of situations where we've had to be in the house, but generally we just don't want to be there. Sharon maybe getting some hip replacements scheduled over the next few months, so in which case the recovery will probably have to be at the house, because getting in and out of this isn't that easy for her now without surgery. So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, if it's been a great adventure, and we absolutely love it. We've got a few shows and bits and pieces to attend this year, but obviously the ultimate plan is to be out on the road full time, traveling, seeing the world, getting out, living our lives, and just really enjoying ourselves. So if you've not seen us before and we've popped up, and please subscribe, like the video, share it if you could. Obviously I know there's a bit talking head style, but there'll be a lot more practical things, travel things coming. We've been asked to do a quick review video of our reverse cam, not a paid review, just somebody asked us if we could do a video, so we'll do that, get that up. And then we've got obviously some mods and bits and pieces. The headlight switch failed while we were on the road the other day, so I had to jerry rig that into an old switch that was on the dashboard, so I'll show you some of that. But yeah, any support we just really appreciate it. We'd love to get to the point where we could sustain an income on the road and travel and just see the world and show you guys what we get up to. That'd be wicked. So if you've got any questions, obviously please pop them down below. We are Just Us and Our Bus everywhere: Facebook page, TikTok, Instagram, and obviously on YouTube. And our goal, is by the end of this year is to get to 5,000 subscribers. So if you could get us on the on that band, if you can get us on the road to that, we would really appreciate it. So hopefully we'll see a few of you on the road soon, and safe travels, and I hope you're all good. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much.